Well, and let's look at since football season just started, let's look at NIL specifically, name, image, and likeness for college athletes. And a lot of times, from my understanding, is they're paid as independent contractors, and they have no concept that the taxes aren't just taken out of their income. Can you give us an idea? And then we're going to talk about athletes and entertainers next. But from my athlete perspective, doesn't matter the sport, and then a lot of these folks are going to make more money playing college than the pros, right? It's just the way it is. Um, what are the income streams that they could expect? And when should they begin the process of finding the proper representation and help? Because a lot of times these folks just they have the wrong people around them.
Right. And sometimes you have the right people for what they do, but you don't have the people to do other things that should be done. So just yesterday, I spoke to a top basketball prospect's father, and he is going to start playing at a very prestigious prep school for his senior year. Well, right now, we are commencing the provision of family office services. That means everything from tax planning, entity formation, estate planning, trust creation. We're doing all of that right now before $1 hits. Why? Because once the dollars start coming in, it can be said that you're doing certain things in anticipation of something or you're sheltering something. But if you do it at the very beginning, as a process, right? Then now no one can argue when we say in 2 years you're a professional real estate investor eligible for bonus depreciation. It can't be argued. Before you ever made a dollar, you were already actively engaged in this business, right? Before you ever moved on campus, we already identified a property. You bought that property. That's where you live, and you rent it to four teammates, right? So by the time you've done that as a landlord, as a property manager for 2 years, what are you? You're a professional real estate investor. But who's going to tell someone that? You have to have an encounter with someone who understands that and understands how it relates to sports. And that's why I do things like this, because I can't hide this knowledge under a rock because too many people now need it. So I have to scream it with a megaphone so people can be prepared. Because most of the time you think, well, I have an agent. Well, what does your agent know about a solo 401k? What does your agent know about how much you should get in terms of ROI when you pick a financial advisor? Does your agent know exactly how to pick a financial advisor, right? Or does your agent pick off of loyalty, which is great if that person guarantees that they're going to make you 15% year over year so your money can double every 4.5 years. But guess what? There are certain people who get 30% year over year on average, right? And it's all about whose money they manage, how much they can buy, and what blue chips they can buy, and how you can get mixed in and get that type of exposure. But that's hard to know without saying, who can I find who knows exactly what I should do from a tax standpoint? Not just reporting and filing, but mitigation and planning.
Absolutely, and especially in college athletics, you could have someone that grew up in Texas where there's no state income tax, and they're going to play college basketball. Let's say they go to Duke, they're in North Carolina, and they're in North Carolina, so you have state and local income tax considerations. Um, there's just a lot to consider. And with my last question on NIL is this it's an evolving landscape, right? Um, are you just seeing more and whenever you have a growth, you have some bad actors out there as well. Are you seeing more Wild West, or are you seeing like that this is going to get reined in and there's going to be more structure and conformity?
So I'm seeing all of the above because there are competing schools of thought and there are competing categories of opportunist. And what I mean by that is some people needed to stay wide open and others needed to be very, very constrained. If you're already in and you have a foothold, you don't care how much regulation enters the space because you've made enough to comply with anything. If you're a new market entrant, you foresee everything is trying to keep you out. And there are good things and bad things from every angle, right? If you're just trying to lock up a market so you can provide an inferior level of service, less of a personal touch, and make what you've already made easily, and even make less, but make it easily, that's not good. If you're someone who's just coming in and you're just trying to capitalize on opportunity, but you don't really care, and you just see that there's a wide open door of opportunity, you're jumping in it, that's not good either. Now, what is good? If you're great in this space and you understand how people can trip up and how people can make mistakes and what they need, that's wonderful to promote more of that. If you're new and you're providing daily calls, daily searching for marketing opportunities, daily updating a website, daily updating social media, and that's something that someone entrenched in the space just says, I'll never do that, right? So there are good things and bad things on both sides. But when you are the parent or the person participating in that endeavor, you want to find certain things. You want a personal touch. You want certain deliverables. You want things to be buttoned up and explained to you at the cadence that works for you and your schedule.